especially about real things that actually matter. Anyway, another one that was proposed by somebody who was supposedly on our side was requiring computer manufacturers to include an ID card reader, so you'd have to insert your smart card to log into your own computer, which of course tells the worst possible people everything you do on your computer and everything you know and everything you are. That one by Howard Dean, who's seen by some as this great progressive guy and everything. No. And now there's a new one they're putting in that will definitely affect people up here. Hasn't passed yet. They're probably going to try and sneak it through when nobody's looking after the November election. Call it the COPE Act. Floating around. I think the House has passed it. The Senate has not yet. But corporate media just glosses it over saying, oh, it's a bill in Congress for better internet service. Who can't get behind better, faster internet service? But what it really is cooked up by the three big phonies, the telecommies down the states, Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T, to privatize the whole internet and give it to them. So they can start setting up their own so-called toll booths on the information highway, which is Al Gore's wet dream way back when, a few years after he claimed he invented the internet and all. Anyway, what it would do is apparently they now have the technology to have a new information superhighway where you can be streaming visual images, instantly across the net and all that. Our token Homeland Security spy set up from the United States to, keep an eye on me. You can get it back to Washington instantly with this. Actually, it's the guy whose place this is, so thanks for having me. But by having me, you would give me license to make fun of you, and you insist on putting me under surveillance. But anyway, what the COPE Act is designed to do, actually, is wipe out what's called internet neutrality. And if it's wiped out in one country, especially the big one, then it's going to be wiped out up here, too. Internet neutrality is just a way of saying what the net is now, where anybody can put up a website, anybody can send anything over the net to anybody, and it's the same playing field, it's the same price. Obviously, the corporations want to make a power grab on this, and so if you are down with Comcast or Verizon, yeah, you can send your stuff down the new way, but, if you're somebody that they don't happen to like, then instead of the superhighway, you can go back to the dirt road and pay 10 times the amount of money. You're going to have to pay more and more and more just to log on, especially if you're an anti-war, anti-globalization group, or even a person. You send something over the net that, Verizon or Comcast doesn't like, such as mentioning how lousy Comcast cable service is and all that. They can say, okay, well, you can't send that stuff anymore. And they can charge different fees for different people they want to pick on. And there's even a clause in this bill that bans city and local governments from collecting franchise fees from Comcast and all for the local cable monopoly, the very fees that are used to fund public access TV shows and educational TV shows. They don't want to have any more of that. The only thing you should be able to stream when we control it all and have HD TV is Dancing with the Stars and get you more and more lost over and over and over again. But what this is designed to do is not only scam on people's pocketbooks, but clamp down on people's right to communicate. It's not just freedom of speech in danger here, it's freedom to communicate. What good is it to have this First Amendment of the American Constitution? You can say anything you want, but don't you dare say it where anybody hears it. And then it's not just trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube with the people communicating on the net. Thereafter, there's, of course, even much more so than here, in the corporate-controlled mass media, TV, newspapers, radio, what passes for political discourse really is right-wing versus ultra-right-wing, for the most part. You never see somebody like Ralph Nader or even Jesse Jackson let alone Noam Chomsky on Nightline, for example. It just isn't done. Here is point of view A, here's the lesser of two evil, point of view B, and that's the only points of view we're going to expose you to. And anybody else who wants to communicate something else, they not only can't get on the air, but if they do a little bit and say one naughty word, they're the ones everybody goes after. And they've been revoking little community stations' licenses and giving them to church groups, too, to have more religious right radio and all. And so when people get mad enough to take to the streets, there's some new ways of dealing with that, too. Especially if it's an event where people know in advance there's going to be a lot of protesters, like the presidential nominating conventions for the Democratic and Republican Party. You show up, oh, you can't come here, you're too close to the convention, somebody might see you. If you want to protest, you can go to the free speech zone. They have a gall to call them free speech zones, often miles away from the convention site. The one in Boston, capacity 1,500 people, when there were tens of thousands of people all showing up to say this to John Kerry for supporting Bush's war and all. And they tried to hurt everybody in this free speech zone that was concrete blocks, chain link fence, razor wire, all constructed underneath a large building under constructed, with catwalks across the top patrolled by the National Guard. Oh, that's the kind of free speech and protest suitable in the land of the free and all.